Here are 5 things that every guy needs to know about girls. Women are people. Not princesses, not goddesses, not quiet, shy outcasts with all these secret, mysterious wants, okay? Being overly precious about women is just as weird and sexist as thinking they're inferior. Period pain can range from I'm feeling a little worse than usual to I am completely incapacitated right now. When a girl is telling you about a problem she's having, she is not coming to you for a solution. And even if you think that you have the perfect solution for their problem, maybe try asking if they want help before giving unsolicited advice. Men, we all know that you're very visual creatures, but women like it when you play with their imagination. So flirting, foreplay, and the build-up to sex is usually better than the sex itself. Trying to skip the imagination part is like trying to pop an empty balloon. It's lower than you think. Here are some tricks to help you get rid of your acne, and none of the cliche shit. Actual life hacks. So everybody knows that you need to be washing your bed sheets at least once a week. I hope. But if you have bad acne, you need to be washing your pillowcases every couple of days. But that's annoying. So instead, try putting a clean towel over your pillowcase every night, and I promise you it's going to change your life. Try leaving Head and Shoulders on your face for 15 minutes a day. There's an ingredient in it called pyrityrone zinc that's been proven to completely clear up certain types of acne. But if you want something a little bit more natural than that, putting shea butter or honey on your face can go a long way in getting rid of pimples and healing acne scars. And when you go to wash your face, make sure you're using hot water. And when you go to rinse it, use cold water. This is going to open and close your pores at the right time, leaving you with better skin. And finally, make sure you give any acne treatment you're trying at least 4 weeks to kick in and work before giving up and trying something else. And if nothing seems to be working, it might be time to talk to a dermatologist instead of listening to a stranger on the internet. Hope this helps though. Hey! Hello? How's 2022 going? January's about to end, so I just wanted to check in on ya. You actually want to know? Yeah. There's an out-of-control SpaceX rocket on a collision course with the moon. What? Betty White and Bob Saget died. Not Betty White and the borderline pedophile from Full House. Some people still deny COVID-19's existence and refuse to get vaccinated, even though over 1,000 people die from it every day. Healthcare workers have to leave their jobs because hospitals can't afford to pay them more than Walmart will. And some mom just threatened to shoot up a school if the school forced her kid to wear a mask. Why? But those same people are trying to ban books from school libraries. I didn't realize that mass school readings were such an issue for our youth. And in spite of the fact that inflation went up by 7%, over 4 million people quit their jobs this month, adding to the 38 million people that quit their jobs last year in what experts are calling the Great Resignation. Are you saying that nobody wants to work anymore? And instead of doing something to help the American people, the government issued a memo assuring all of us that birds are real. So the birds aren't real. Birds aren't real. Trigger warning, here is what actually happens after you die. First things first, all the muscles in your body are going to relax, like really relax for the first time in probably a long time. Which means that 10 to 25 pounds of crap you've been holding on to is going to spill out, and whoever finds you is going to be very aware of the fact that you just shit and pissed yourself. But who cares? You're dead. Then all the air in your body is going to escape. Morticians have even said that they hear a lot of moaning while being the only alive person in the room. And because your blood is no longer circulating, it's just going to pool in a specific spot, which is why most dead bodies have a dark purplish color. And if you're a man, you might just get one last boner. After about 2 to 6 hours, your body's going to become very cold and stiff, and because of dehydration, your skin's going to shrivel up, making it look like your hair and nails have grown. And then all the microorganisms that have been living in your gut are going to eat you dead. And if your body is left above ground, it would take about a month to really decompose, but if you're buried underground, the process takes 8 to 12 years. Happy dying. Here are 5 facts you didn't know about the male body. Men are more likely to be habitual snorers. 45% of men snore every single night compared to 20% of women. They have thicker skin. Actually though, their skin is literally thicker. Men's bodies stink. You probably knew this, but it's because they produce more of a hormone called androstenone, which, depending on your genes, can make you smell like vanilla or urine. The male orgasm typically lasts half as long as a female's. So sorry. Men, you can't move your dick without clenching your butthole. Stop trying to do it! Here are 5 things you didn't know about the female body. A woman's sense of smell is about 50 times better than men's. And because men have the gene that make them more susceptible to color blindness, women are able to see a much larger spectrum of color than they are. Women also have a much stronger memory, which tends to lead to better decision making. And because women are missing a specific enzyme that breaks down alcohol, we get more drunk. I'm also not sure why or how, but research shows that women are more likely to get cavities. And I'm gonna go to the dentist now. How to take the best shit of your goddamn life. First and foremost, make sure you get at least 30 grams of fiber every single day. And you don't have to drink like prune juice or anything like that. You can do beans, avocado, or popcorn. Doing this will take you from a 3 to a 4. 4 is good. First thing in the morning, drink a hot liquid, coffee, tea, or even just water. It's going to trigger your gastrocolic reflex, contracting your colon, and just gets everything started. And finally, don't sit to shit, squat instead. Sitting bends your colon in a weird way, making you work harder, while squatting opens all that up. And by far the easiest way to do this is by getting a squatty potty. Not sponsored, just a big fan. How old is your dog? Okay, I'm sure if you're like most people, you're counting the years and then multiplying that by 7. So if they're 3, they're actually 21. He's 1, so he's 7. What if I told you that that way of thinking about your dog's age is completely outdated? New research has come out that's actually based on your dog's DNA. So this new formula to calculate the age is way more accurate. The first year of your dog's life is equivalent to 15 years, which unfortunately means I own a teenager. And then the second year of your dog's life, you add 9 years. So by 2, he'd be 24. And then every year after that, you just add 5 years. So by 3, he'd be 29. And then by 4, he'd be 34, and so on. So, some people masturbate more than they brush their teeth. Kids who are growing up today with iPads and tablets are gonna have all the internet addiction without any of the computer skills. Most people living today know so little about the world around them that if we just took like a random person and sent them back in the past 200 years, they wouldn't be able to invent anything any quicker. Like, how does a cell phone work? How does a toilet work? How does anything work? I don't know. As a lesbian with a lot of guy friends, I feel like they tell me things or I notice things that other girls might not, so here are some things that girls should know about guys. Guys will straight up show you that they like you, okay? They'll text you all the time, they'll want to hang out all the time, they'll check in on you. It's like a big ass sign that they're into you. But if you're confused and you're not sure if they're like interested, no. Boys are the absolute worst at picking up hints. To be fair, girls aren't very good at giving them, but like, still, if you like him or you want something from him, you have to be direct. They can't read your mind and everybody's just gonna be so much happier with some good communication. Men are so compliment deprived, it's honestly really depressing. So if you like a guy, give him a real, genuine compliment. I promise you he's going to think about it for the rest of his life, and it might even be enough to get him to like you back. Let's say you have a crush on somebody, you're flirting a little bit, maybe even dating, but you're not quite sure if they're all that into you. Buckle up because they're about to be. You're on FaceTime with them. Congratulations, I'm assuming you're at home, you're in your normal clothes, okay? In the middle of the conversation, be like, oh, it's getting late, I gotta put on my pajamas. Now, you walk out of frame. They don't get a show, and when you're changing, you just happen to throw your shirt across the frame. You throw your pants, you throw your hoodie, you throw your whatever, okay? You're going to be able to see their reaction on screen. They're not going to say anything because you didn't do anything, but they're going to be thinking some things. Pretend that there's something in your eye, okay? It hurts really bad. You can't get it out. You need their help. Depending on the height difference, they're going to be looking up at you, trying to figure out what's causing you pain. You're going to be looking down at them, or vice versa. And all you have to do is smile. And they're going to be like, what? And you have to be like, I just really like you looking up or down at me. I would get butterflies. This one really only works if you're a girl going for a guy, or girl for girl, or guy for guy. It doesn't really work guy for girl. Okay, you're gonna be in a conversation with them, standing across from them. You're gonna have something in your hand. Doesn't matter what it is, phone, wallet, chapstick, I don't care. You're going to accidentally drop it. When you go down, you're going to grab their thigh for balance. And before you come back up, you're gonna look back up at them and be like, ah, my bad, and get back up and go back to the conversation as if nothing happened. They're going to explode! Here are some weird things that happen when you fall in love with somebody. Your voice is gonna change. If you're a guy, it's gonna get higher. And if you're a girl, it's gonna get lower. And this happens because on some subconscious level, you just wanna be more like your partner. You're gonna become completely obsessed because your brain just gets addicted. Like hardcore drugs addicted, but to a person. You're gonna act like drunken fools around each other, and this is because of oxytocin. The love hormone has a similar effect on our bodies as if we just took a couple shots of alcohol. You're gonna like food more, and it's really weird, but there's been several studies that prove this, that when you're in love, something with neurons and shit, food just tastes better. And because of all the hormones and brain chemistry shit, being in love can actually raise your pain tolerance. But on the flip side, you can literally die from a broken heart. This is gonna be fun. I just found out that some people have the ability to see more colors than the rest of us. We're gonna figure out if you're one of those people right now. Take a second to pause this and count how many colors that you see. Okay, so if you counted 20 colors, this means that you're part of the 25% of the population that only has 2 color receptors. Surprise! You're colorblind. If you counted between 21 and 32 colors, this means that you're part of the 55% of the population that has 3 color receptors. Congratulations, you're normal. But if you were worthy enough to count between 33 and 39 colors, you're what's called a tetratromad, which means you have 4 different color receptors. You can see more colors than everybody else around you. You're more sensitive to the color yellow, and the whole white, gold, blue, black dress thing probably didn't trick you like it did the rest of the world. Really weird human body facts that I can guarantee you didn't know. If you're a person with a vagina, you should probably try and do some Kegels every now and then, because if the muscles and ligaments that you have down there aren't strong enough, it's been known for the uterus to just fall out. Men can lactate and produce milk just like women can. Most guys won't admit it, but it's a lot more common than you think, and it's usually triggered by starvation. If you decide to hold in a fart, that gas doesn't just go away. It's absorbed by your intestines, which goes into your bloodstream, which eventually reaches your lungs until you breathe out the fart. Literal shit breath. Here's the way that doctors try and predict your height, okay? All you have to do is take your mom's height and add it to your dad's height. Take that number and divide it by 2. And if you're a guy, add 2.5 inches. And if you're a girl, subtract 2.5 inches. Let me know how accurate that is in the comments. You know, if you're fully grown. If you're still in puberty, just know this has about 90% accuracy. Like, I'm a girl and I ended up being taller than both my parents. Good luck. Things your parents told you that just weren't true. Like, straight up fucking lies. Coffee doesn't stunt your growth. You're just short and your parents didn't want a child bouncing off the walls from the caffeine. Cracking your knuckles isn't gonna give you arthritis. It's perfectly fine and it's just releasing air from your joints. If you accidentally swallow some gum, it's not gonna stay in you for 7 years. It's probably gonna be out of your system in just a couple days. Sitting too close to the TV isn't gonna ruin your eyesight. There's been so many studies that disprove this myth. Chocolate milk doesn't come from brown cows. I've met too many people that believe this and it's starting to worry me. Did you know that your handwriting can tell you a lot about the kind of person you are? Like, seriously, there was a study done on over 5,000 people trying to find correlations between their handwriting and their personalities, and it's scary accurate. If you write in large letters, you love attention and you want to appear confident and strong to everyone around you, but under the surface, not so much. If you write in small letters, this means that you have a very strong focus and concentration, but socially, you're kind of shy and withdrawn. If you write fast, you're impatient and hate people who waste your time, and you're not really good with changes to your schedule. If you tend to write slower, this could mean that your motor skills aren't quite up to par with everybody else's, but you're a very organized and self-reliant person. If you leave these wide spaces in between all your letters, you can't really handle pressure or authority all that well, and you get overwhelmed really easily. If you don't leave a whole lot of space in between your letters, you make friends pretty easily, but this is only because you cannot stand being alone. Mandala effects that are gonna really freak you out. Anytime anybody wants to dress up as Tom Cruise in Risky Business, they do the white socks, the no pants, the pink shirt, and the sunglasses. But Tom Cruise isn't wearing sunglasses in that scene. If you imagine the Star Wars character C-3PO, I'm sure you picture an all-gold robot. But since the beginning of the franchise, C-3PO has had a silver leg. And for some reason, nobody seems to remember it. Ask anybody you know to describe what the robber emoji looks like. Most people are going to say, well, he's wearing a striped shirt, a black hat, and wearing a mask. And I'm sure you pictured this, but this emoji does not and has never existed. Here's some advice on how to have a healthy and happy 2022 from somebody who's not very healthy or happy, but we're working on it. If the thing you're avoiding is gonna take you less than 5 minutes to do, Just fucking do it. It's 5 minutes, and doing so is gonna motivate you to do more things, okay? Doing things makes you feel good, and procrastination makes you feel like shit. So just stop it. Don't go on that diet. You don't need it. Not really. Like, I'm not a nutritionist or anything, but I feel like it's gonna be better for you in the long run to just try and create some boundaries with food than trying to keep up with some weirdly strict diet that doesn't let you eat what you want to eat. If you want to try and get in shape, don't just jump into like 2-hour a day, 5-day-a-week workouts. Start small. Try just stretching for 10 minutes a day and work into 20-minute workouts and work your way up and actually build the habit. Because if you try to force yourself to be a gym rat when you've been a couch potato for who knows how long, that shit's overwhelming and it's not gonna stick. Movie scenes that ended up going horribly wrong. In Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, there's a scene where they go through the Wonka wash and they use candy foam to clean the vehicle. But it's not candy foam. That doesn't exist. So they used fire extinguisher foam, which ended up getting all the actors sick and they had to cancel production for a couple weeks. In The Wizard of Oz, they do a magic trick to have the Wicked Witch escape Munchkinland, but during one of the takes, the actress's cape got stuck on the trap door, and when the flames went up, her flammable makeup ended up causing second-degree burns. In the last Harry Potter movie, Daniel Radcliffe's stunt double, David Holmes, was performing an aerial trick when an explosion ended up throwing him against a wall, breaking his neck and back. And for the past 11 years, he's been paralyzed from the chest down. 3 movie mistakes that ended up making the final cut. In How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Jim Carrey was supposed to walk over the table, pull the tablecloth, and have everything go flying. But somehow, that didn't happen, so he improvised, ran over, and pushed everything off, and it was just too good not to put in the movie. In Lord of the Rings, when Gandalf enters Bilbo's hobbit hole, he accidentally hits his head on everything. The chandelier, the low ceiling beam, and Peter Jackson thought it was just so funny, so he kept it in. In Thor Dark Worlds, Thor very casually and very politely hangs up his hammer on the coat rack, which wasn't in the script, and it sparked this whole debate online about whether the coat rack was worthy. I'm about to make a whole lot of you really upset right now, especially if you're still in school, and I'm sorry, but this has to be pointed out. We can all agree that the United States school system sucks, right? But do you know what country's school system doesn't suck because they prioritize learning and mental health over grades? Finland. You don't believe me? Okay, well, let's just compare the graduation rates, or how much homework a kid has a night, or how much break you get throughout the day. How about how many standardized tests you have to take? Or how much the teachers work versus how much they're paid? Isn't that interesting? Isn't that just crazy? Also, their college is free! Psychology tricks to make somebody nervous or give them butterflies when you're in a conversation with them. Say their name, okay? You know when you're in a conversation with somebody who's new and cute and they say your name and you're just like... You can do that to somebody else. There's a reason why Rihanna wrote a song about it. It's hot. Just do it. Mention something they've told you about themselves. What school they went to, what kind of foods they like. It can literally be anything. But if you bring that back up in conversation, they're going to be like, aw, they remembered something I've said. Do I remember anything they've said? Straight up, just check them out in conversation. It's not that hard. Just do the classic, like, up-down look, but more seductive-like, and they're gonna be nervous as shit, thinking that you're interested in them, which might just make them interested in you. Insane history facts that school just didn't teach you. In 17th century Europe, it was very common for nannies to give young and teenage boys of the house handies to help them sleep at night. We used to have a plant called silphium that was an extremely effective birth control. Unfortunately, the ancient Romans just had way too much sex and the plant went extinct. Tampons were first invented in the 18th century to help stop the bleeding from bullet wounds. And they were like, okay, to help with the pain, let's put a little bit of our general anesthetic on the tampon. Except it was cocaine! They made cocaine tampons! And by the time women started using tampons, you know, for their periods, they kept the cocaine. They're like, yeah, it helps with period cramps. But like, why don't we have this anymore? Like, logically, I know why we don't, but as a person who experiences period cramps, bring it back. Adult jokes in kids' movies that you missed because you were a stupid, oblivious child. In the movie Ratatouille, Alfredo gets caught talking to Remy in the freezer, but he can't be like, oh yeah, I was talking to the rat, so he's like, oh, I'm just familiarizing myself with the vegetables. So Chef Skinner has to remind him that one can get too familiar with vegetables if you know what I mean. Jimmy Neutron was a Nickelodeon show with too many adult jokes to count, but by far my favorite one was when Jimmy's dad came out as a little bit fruity because he sat on a banana when he was 7, and of course, it changed his life. As a kid watching The Road to El Dorado, I was like, oh my god, Shell and Tulio got caught kissing, that's crazy. But as an adult, I know that she is nowhere near his face. When you make a bag of microwavable popcorn, that little slit at the bottom is used to shake out the kernels in the bag. Look at this. So many kernels. When you wear a bathrobe, you're not supposed to tie the rope around the back. Take it out and tie it through the front. It tightens so much more easily this way. If you store a cut avocado in some water in the fridge, it'll last 2 to 3 days longer than if you just left it in the fridge.